The milestone that we're addressing in this video for your 4 to 6 month old is sitting with support. Now, sitting with support starts to happen right around about 4.5 to 5 months or so, and then your baby continues to work on this skill and develop the strength necessary for them to sit independently between about 5 to 8 months. So there's a big window there that we're playing with as we continue to help babies sit without support. So we're going to talk about 3 different activities that you can do with your baby to help with this milestone, and different ways that you can help them continue to develop. Now, first of all, let's talk a little bit about why it's so important for your baby to come to sit independently on their own. Now, first of all, we know that in early childhood development, in motor development, we have to develop stability before we can develop mobility. Stability before mobility. You have to have a stable base of support, stable body, stable trunk, strong core muscles, strong hips, strong shoulders, strong head and neck before you're able to move off of that base of support and play and interact with your environment. And so coming to sit and learning to sit really involves the culmination of so many different muscles working together to be stable so that you can be mobile. Follow? So when we're talking about stability for mobility, we're talking about stability in the trunk and in the glutes and in the hip flexors and in the hip socket. We're talking about stability and strength in the shoulder blades and in the pec muscles and in the abdominals. And we're talking about all that strength and stability in the spinal extensors also, because those are the things that keep baby nice and strong in the core so that they can rotate their head while sitting upright, pay attention to things while they're upright, reach for things while they're upright in the sitting position without falling over and clonking themselves. Of course, they'll probably do that, which is fine. That's, completely normal. But we want to talk about developing that stability before we have mobility. And sitting with support is how we start that off. Okay, I'm going to dive a little deeper into why it's important for babies to learn how to come into the sitting position. Now, oftentimes when we have our little one, we go to our well checkups and we often see our doctor doing one of these, where baby's laying on their back and they grab hold of baby's arms and they pull baby up and they say, "Oh, look at that, look at his head control, that's so great." Now, the doctor is doing that for lots of different diagnostic reasons. This is not the way that babies learn how to sit up. And the reason why is because the only muscles that you're trying to get them to work on there are the muscles in the neck and in the front of the chest and the front of the abdominals. When we come to sit, if you try it at home, when we come to sit, there are more muscles that are being activated whenever we come to sit. There's a whole lot more rotation that happens. There's stability on one side of the body and movement on the other side. And it's so important for babies to move through these positions when they learn how to come to sit. These learning moments of coming to sit, from lying on their back to coming to sit, are so important because whenever your baby starts to get up and walk, they're not going to come up and start walking like this. Now, if I were to see a kid like this come straight up to standing in this kind of frontal space here, I'll do it this way so you can see a little bit better. So if your baby learns to come up and stand just like this, or oftentimes what I'll see in the therapy setting is they'll do a W, they'll come up this way, and whoops, not like that, but they'll come up and they'll come straight to standing this way. There's not ever any rotation that happens in the trunk, the pelvis, in the upper body either. That's not something that we want to see as our children develop. We want to see movement that happens on both sides of the body. So although you might see your doctor pulling your baby up this way, they're doing that for completely different reasons than to try to see if they can sit up. Another thing is that it's fine to put your baby in sitting. If we just want to say, "Okay, baby, you can sit right here," just like that. But we don't want that to be the only way that they can assume and hold the sitting position. We want to make sure that they learn how to get in sitting on their own, because it helps with all those transition skills of rolling over, coming to all fours, starting to crawl, starting to run with a smooth coordinated gait, skipping, galloping, all those things that come so much later, all starts early in these beginning stages with stabilizing one side of the body and moving the other. And we're going to dive deeper into that as we talk more about how to help your baby come to sit. So for this series of activities to meet that milestone of sitting with support, the tools that you're going to need are your cylinders, your foam cylinders. I've got my a little bit larger foam cylinder than the pool noodles that we've been using, and I've got that one cut in half also. Things that you can use here, if you don't have one of these, you can use a towel roll, but just not that hand towel anymore. Maybe more like a standard bath size towel. But you want one that's gonna meet your needs for your little one. Also, a pillow and a boppy. So grab those items and join me as we dive in to helping baby sit with support.